Yes, welcome once again to another exciting edition of the MOS. That is the Madiba official show here with me. The Madiba official. It's time for us to serve you with the happenings in Ghana football. Don't forget, today being the 15th day of September 2023 is the commencement of the Bet Power Premier League of 2023-2024. And as you know, this is the channel that preview the matches in the Ghana Premier League. So if you want to know the happenings in the Bet Power Premier League, matches of Kotoko, House of Folk, and what have you, please, this is the channel for you. Please kindly help us by subscribing and also turning on the post notification button, so in case of any video, you'll be notified as soon as possible. House of Folk will be playing today, Kotoko will be playing on Sunday, and trust you me, we will be coming you we always with the preview of Kotoko's games, as we are going to do right now with that of House of Oak. So please kindly help us by subscribing. Now, without much ado, let's delve into the game. House of Oak will be playing against Real Tamale United. And as a matter of fact, they are already in Tamale. They reached Tamale around, that is on Tuesday, because they wanted to get into Tamale early, acclimatize the weather in the north, and also make sure that they settle down, train, and be able to get the maximum points at stake when they play against Real Tamale United. Now, in the off-season, House of Folk played about 9 or 10 matches, scoring some 35 goals in the process, conceding less than 6 goals in the process. And as a matter of fact, some of the players that were contributing, especially the attackers, that couldn't bank the goals last season, Albert Diodoni Iyonde, Kojo Obin Jr. and co. were all among the score sheets when they played the off-season matches. House of Folk played against some lowly ranked teams, the lower divisions, Division 1, Division 2, and so on and so forth, before they crowned it up with a newly promoted team into the Ghana Premier League. That's Nations X, and they won that game too by 2-0. Goals by Abdul Aziz Nuruddin and then Kojo Obin Jr. So they scored the 2 goals for House of Folk when they won against, that is, Nations Football Club. Now they are in Tamale preparing, gearing themselves, and they want to translate the form that they had in the off-season into the season proper. And as I said they scored about 35 goals. And their top scorer in the offseason was one of their new signings in Kashala Wane Ramos. And the Congolese want to make a mark in this season because one department that has been a canker for the Continental Club Masters in years gone by has been the attacking arsenal. Their strikers have not been able to get the goods for them. And this time around, they want to make sure that they start the season with a bang, and Kashala Wane Ramos want to be the man to spearhead that attack. He alongside Kasim Sis, who was brought into the club by Ahmed Simba Toure. So now they have Kasim Sis out front, Albert Diodoni Iyonde over the Kojo Obin Jr. and the aforementioned Kashala Wane Ramos against an RTU side that have lost most of their integral players last season. Talk of Ronald Frimpong, who is out of the team to be BNU Gold Stars. Then you look at Sadat Mohammed, who was an integral member, as a matter of fact, the one holding the midfield and the back line thick. And that player too is now out to, that is, Gold Stars. He nearly signed for the Porcupine Warriors, but because of lack of communication between both camps, he eventually signed for Gold Stars. Abdul Manaf Nuruddin, who scored in both legs when these two teams met last season, is also not in the team again. He's joined in Swatraman. So you look at these key players that have left the shot of the club, and it tells that they've lost a lot, although they've brought in some new players to augment their team. And they, according to their CEO, they are ready for the season. And as I said, this is a team, when it comes to them playing against House of Folk, they've always had the upper hand since they came back from the lower divisions into the Premier League. They played 4 matches against House of Folk, and in those 4 matches that they played, they won 3, scoring about 7 goals in the process, conceding just 1 goal, and that was that of last season that they consider. So it tells you the kind of form that they have when they are playing against other folk. They've won 3 and drawn 1. And the goals have been coming. Last 2 seasons, they went to Accra to win by 4 goals to 1 against other folk. And last season it was 2-1 and then 1-0. So what it means is that when it comes to the bragging right and the mental fortitude and someone with the psychological edge, you give it to RTU because they've already done it before and they want to get into the new season with a bang, starting their season at home. And don't forget, one area that allowed them to have respite in the league last season was their home form. Despite them not paying some of the salaries of the players, yet still their home form was something to write home about. And this time around, they want to do it a fortress as they did last season. And other folk too, as I said earlier on, with the kind of that is enthusiasm, morale, and that excitement that they brought to their fans during the off season, and under Martin Koopman, they want to start the season with a bang. They don't want to start dropping points like they did that is last season when they started the season with a drawn game or they lost against Indiana Stars. They drew against Olympics and also Kotoko. That eventually led to the sack of their coach Samuel Boadu. So this time around, they want to start the season with a bang. And as I said earlier on, the off-season was good for them. And if you look at the acquisition that they brought in, they acquired some good players into key positions that folk were lacking. So at the back line, last season, whenever they see the sight of Kunadu Yard, I'm talking about the supporters of other folk, then some of them turn off their television, some of them will be cursing the player because they thought it's not the quality of play to play for other folk. Now it's out of the team. And almost the entire back line, Robert Adusowa, and you look at Kaliba Mankwa and Co., all of these players are out of the team. So now they brought in new players. So the back four that may be starting today will all may be new players. Because you look at the left back, they brought in Levintius at although all season. Dennis Costa played most of the matches. For me, I would prefer Levintius Arthur. Then you look at right fullback. That was one department that they really needed somebody to come in there and do a job, because last year at some point in time it was Amankwa Bafi that was deputized as a right fullback because Inkum and Co wasn't pulling. So Amankwa Bafi being a winger to step in and play as a fullback. Now they brought in a proper fullback in Michael Ampadu from Dar es Legon City. So Michael Ampadu for me will start as a right fullback. Then the centre back pair of Kelvin Osei and Kofi Agbesima, the former captain of Bechem United, that finished second in the league last season, or third, sorry, in the league last season. So Bechem United captain Kelvin Osei of 11 Wonders. So these two players will be partnered themselves at the back line. So the 4 players at the heart of defense could be new players entirely. The middle of the park too, they brought in some interesting talent, Evans Adomako and Co. And for me, these players, how the folk are good to go. And it will start today against an RTU side, as I said earlier on. They have lost most of their key players. How will the folk fare in today's game? Will they translate their off-season form into today's game? Only time will tell me. For me, from what I've seen from all-season and RTU, the lack of morale in the camp, God monies and whatever, some of the players that are new in the team who also want to stamp their authority in the team and also get contract like Ronald Frimpong and Co had and moved out of the club. But this will be an interesting game at the Alhaji Ali Muhammad Sports Stadium. But I'm going in for double chance for the Continental Club Masters. How the folk, either a win or a draw for the folk. Let us know your thoughts on how the folks first game of the 2023-2024 Bet Power Premier League. Adios, gracias. May the Lord Almighty be with us. Or please get to subscribe. Kindly click on the subscribe button and turn on the bell. So whenever we upload a new content, you'll be notified as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye-bye.